Now, I told you guys that if I was ever wrong, that I would be accountable for what I was saying and that I would acknowledge my errors and my mistakes. So today, you guys, I want to take this as an opportunity to acknowledge that I was wrong. And I also want to tell you guys from the bottom of my heart that I'm sorry. And you guys, here's the thing. I'm not saying this very lightly. I've got with my family. We asked, what did I do right? What did I do wrong? How did this happen? When all is said and done, the fact remains, you guys, that I was wrong and I am no longer the hiding, go, seek champion. You guys, my daughter turned into an absolute beast the other night. I couldn't find her and I started panicking, thinking that she went outside. Am I going to have to call the police? So I screamed. I was like, you win, come out. She pops up right next to me, almost gives me a heart attack. But you guys, I'm no longer the hiding goose seek champion. Can you believe that? You didn't think I was going to say I was wrong about the housing market crash, did you? But regardless, you guys, what we're going to do today is I'm going to show you guys the exact correlation with interest rates and home values. And the reason I want to emphasize this, guys, is I am seeing so many channels, so many news stations, investors and realtors that are saying, oh, the Fed is pivoting. There's no longer going to be a housing market crash, when the reality is these guys are desperate and flip-flopping like fish out of water. So I'm going to show you guys, what did interest rates have to get to pause the equity growth? What did interest rates have to get to start a decline? What were interest rates when we had rapid price declines? So we're going to cover everything interest rate, guys. But before I do that, I want to show you this. And you guys may remember this. This is the quarterly residential vacancy and home ownership charts from the U.S. Census Bureau. So let's scroll down here to page 4. And I just want to put things in perspective, okay? So here's the total number of housing units. Right now, we have 142 million housing units. Right now, occupied, we have 127 million. But what I want to point out, guys, is right now, of that amount of housing units, 142 million, only 83 million of those homes are owner occupied. What this means is this. Let me explain. This means that we have 44 million houses right now that are being rented. And it also means we have 15 million houses right now that are vacant. Now, here's the point, you guys, that I'm really trying to make here. Unlike 2008, where predominantly owner-occupied residences got hit hard, right? We had massive foreclosures, hyper inventory, and the reason they got hit hard is bad financing, quite frankly, people going stated, well, on top of overvalued houses, but that is what happened last time predominantly. This time, what I'm trying to tell you guys is the Federal Reserve and the government is actually attacking the rich. First of all, they're attacking every class, upper, middle, and lower. But the astonishing thing right now is we are witnessing the rich learn lessons. So what I'm saying is keep your eye on all of those vacant houses and all of those rental houses, which is in excess of 59 million residences. So here's the thing, guys, with the continued quantitative tightening, investors are going to continue to take a beating. Now, those 59 million houses that are being rented or being vacant, if these investors continue to suffer as a result of the quantitative tightening and as a result of being poorly leveraged, they will have no choice but to liquidate those houses, because they're going to liquidate their investments and second homes, right? People will do that before they lose their primary residence. So what I am pointing out this time around is we're going to need to keep our eyes on investors as well as new construction, right? The really amazing thing is pretty much every investor we want to keep our eye on, whether it's commercial multifamily, whether it's flip investors or short-term investors, long-term investors. You guys, right now, investors are getting absolutely annihilated. So I'm starting to see a lot of these investors or even realtors, when they see the slightest change from the Federal Reserve, all of a sudden the Fed pivots. There's no longer a housing market crashes. They say things like unemployment's off the table, 9% rates are off the table. We're no longer going to have a housing market crash. But my question is this. Who said interest rates aren't going up? Because the speech yesterday that I was listening to said interest rates are going to go higher for longer than originally thought. That was said. And I understand that's a federal funds rate. But regardless of what people say, the federal funds rate does affect mortgage interest rates, more residential mortgage interest rates. Now, predominantly, they drastically affect consumer debt like credit cards and car loans. But regardless, you guys, I want to show you guys today that the fact is interest rates actually do not need to get to 9%. They don't even need to get to 8% to continue the housing market crash. So I'm going to show you guys, we're going to study this entire year and what impact the interest rates had on median sales price. The way I'm going to do that, guys, is I'm going to pull up Fed economic data. We're going to look at the rates, and then I'm also going to pull up Redfin median sales price for 2022, and then we're going to compare. And I think you guys are going to be extremely surprised on what you find out, because the reality is homes are overpriced. It's not just because the interest rates that things are unaffordable. Things are also unaffordable because of inflamed prices. And as a result of those inflamed prices, we will have a price crash. Listen to me. I didn't say foreclosures. I didn't say short sales. I didn't say bankruptcies, although I think those will happen. I'm specifically saying prices. And the fact of the matter is this, you guys, we have more equity to lose than we did in 2009. And what I'm saying is this: a homeowner back in 2008, 2009, if they lose 10% of equity, devastating. Fast forward to today, if someone loses 10% in equity, I think they're going to be a lot safer as long as they haven't purchased in the last 6 months. But regardless, let's start pulling up the charts and dig into the data now. So you guys see here, I like to go to Redfin, and once I'm at Redfin News, I go to Data Center. So you guys can access this yourself. But again, the reason why I want to make this video is you really have to be careful who you're listening to. What I'm finding out, guys, is we really can't lean on anyone about the housing market. We can't lean on realtors. We surely can't lean on investors. And the reason is those people are desperate. I mean, they're desperate. They want to make money. Their goal is to make money. So the slightest change, their emotion, their desire to succeed, it's going to cloud their logic, right? It's going to cloud their logic, but it is what it is, guys. All right, guys. So here's Redfin's median sales price chart. Okay, so let me point out a couple milestones real quick, and then let's correspond what's going on with the interest rates and how that impacted the median sales price. But let me start right here, guys, okay? So quantitative tightening started around March. Okay, so quantitative tightening started around March. Interest rates were in the 4%. So you can see that even though quantitative tightening started in March, home values continue to go up pretty strongly until about May and June right here. Okay, so that's important to understand. So what we have to understand is what were interest rates in this period of time that caused home values to continue to go up. So let me show you that right now. So if we look, guys, here's March 10th. Okay, so March 10th, the interest rates, quantitative tightening started. Interest rates went up to 3.85. Now, if we go all the way to about June 2nd, we see that interest rates were 5.09. So what we can safely assume, you guys, is during this period of 4% interest rates, that didn't have a large impact on the housing market. So it's safe to assume, even though people have less money saved, even though people are in more debt right now, it's safe to assume that if we have interest rates go under 5%, more than likely we're going to be in the same situation that we're in now. So that's why I'm always saying, as long as interest rates remain above 5% and inventory continues to come back, we should be perfectly fine. But let me show you what it took for the housing market to completely decelerate. Take a look. Okay, guys, so here is essentially, so this period right here, guys, is essentially the deceleration period. Now, this was the fastest equity deceleration recorded in history from the last reports that I have read, which happened in June. So we know this right here, guys, is not really declining. This is halting, right? This is stopping median sales price. So we had a stop in median sales price essentially from May 22nd all the way to July 3rd. So July 3rd, median sales price 389, and also 389 May 29th. So you see that? So it stayed at 389 from May 29th all the way to July 3rd. So what we got to see is what were interest rates at that period of time that held median sales price down. Let's take a look. So if we look, here's May, you guys. So from May to July, which is right here, you guys, essentially interest rates were in the low to high 5%. Okay, so in order for us to have continued balance in the housing market, more than likely we're going to need those interest rates in the mid to low 5%. Do you guys see that? So these these 5% interest rates caused the housing market to stop. But look at this, interest rates actually went down for a period of time. The market rallied and they didn't go up again till about, let's see here, August 25th. So what I want to do, you guys, is let's see what happened to median home value August 25th, because obviously interest rates kept going up till about September 29th to 6.7. Okay, so basically we're going to see, from what 5.5 to 6.7% interest rates actually did to median sales price. So this is when the market softened. Do you see that? This is when we kind of softened in July. People came back into the market. Median sales price actually went up. So what happened is that's why mortgage interest rates went higher, up to 5.5%, all the way to 6.7. But look at this. When they went up again like that, it crashed median sales price. Do you guys see that? So it crashed, you guys, till about, remember, I went to about August 25th. Look, so it stopped right here. So we had a crash right here when interest rates were, in the sixes, right? But look at this, it plateaued once again. So let's see what happened essentially in September and why did these median sales prices go up? Take a look. So as you can see here, even though we had a little bit of a dip, interest rates actually were higher. Now, let me explain what I believe this is. So that's not matching the interest rates, right? So how, interest rates are higher, but yet median sales price plateaued off. So let me explain why I believe that happened. I believe what that graph shows us are the period when new home builders brought back buying incentives into the market. Because remember, before that time, home builders were having people on a waiting list to buy their houses, right? Fast forward to today, they can't get anyone to buy their houses. So back in around August, September, that's when they really started cutting prices, offering buying incentives. So anyone that was on the sideline, that was barely hanging on, that was waiting for buying incentives, rushed back into the market, purchased homes, and median sales price went up. But again, you guys, that's only going to work so long because, again, the problem right now is unaffordability. The problem is payments are too high. The price is too high, right? That's the problem. That's why you notice that. But let's hop back in right now. So let's take a look at what happened from September till about November 10th. So from September, so the end of September to November 10th, interest rates kept going up, right? Kind of steadily. So let's see what happened that period of time. So you can see from September 18th till about November 13th, plummeting prices once again. So again, you guys, it's pretty easy to tell that the interest rates do have a major effect on median sales price. And, despite what people are saying, we don't need rates at 8% for home prices to go down. I hope you guys saw that right now. And remember, we had price drops and equity deceleration with also historical low inventory. So when we build up our inventory, this is what I'm saying. When we build up our inventory, I don't believe we are going to need interest rates in the high sixes. We aren't even going to need interest rates in the 7% to maintain declining median sales price. And again, you guys, why, right? Why am I saying that? Unaffordability, because things are unaffordable. Home prices went up about 40% in 2 years. That doesn't work. I don't get it, you guys. Here's the thing. Like some of these investors, some of these, realtors, they're smart, right? They're smart people, but this is what I had to say. Okay, this is what I have to say. Any investor and any realtor that went through the 2008 and 2009 housing market crash that is not remaining cautious to their clients is doing society a disservice, especially if you already went through the last crash. Because one thing you should have learned, even if you didn't make a mistake, is that people need to remain cautious. So when I hear the housing market crash is canceled, the Fed is pivoting, interest rates are plummeting, you guys, that's not accurate. And the reason is the Federal Reserve is still combating inflation. The Federal Reserve is still combating shelter, housing, the rental market, the labor market. You guys, Jerome Powell has not said he's going to flip. He has not said he's going to pivot. So all of these people, what are you talking about? You guys see what I'm saying? You guys just be really careful who you're listening to. And it's just so shocking to me that these, I'll admit some of these guys are pretty intelligent, but their intelligence is clouded by their goals or desire to succeed. And the problem with that, when people are giving that type of advice or when their influencers are, it's gonna impact people, right? People are gonna base decisions on other people's recommendations. So it's quite frankly very possible that people are basing their purchasing decisions on the wrong information. Case in point, Dave Ramsey. You got Dave Ramsey. Do you guys remember when he said only Seattle is experiencing price decline? Do you guys remember that? According to Redfin, about 30 to 35% of the top 50 metro areas have been on and off the year over year price decline list. According to Redfin, we're only $5,000 away from year over year price decline on a national average. How is the housing market crash canceled? You guys, here's the thing, okay? It's going to get hard. All right. If you're a well-positioned buyer, if you're like me, if you're on the sidelines, it's going to get hard because we hate renting. I hate renting. I'm throwing away my money. It's too small. I don't want to wake up to my kids yelling and screaming. I like my other house. I want a house, you guys. I do, but it's not time. Okay. It's not time. And it's going to be especially hard now that we're out of the bubble. Now that all the phases are firing on all cylinders. Now that we're seeing buying incentives. Now that we're seeing price cuts. It's going to be hard. But here's the thing. I also want to make this point. People buy for different reasons. So I'm not knocking people that are necessarily purchasing right now. But this is what I'm saying. If you do purchase right now, please, you guys, make sure 100% you're well leveraged. Okay, that you're well leveraged and that you go into purchasing right now expecting negative equity decline. Okay, and if you're comfortable with that, by all means, purchase. But who I'm talking to, you guys, is I'm not talking to the well-leveraged first-time home buyers. I'm talking to anyone with any struggle whatsoever. What you need to do now is you need to sit tight. You need to wait because you're going to be the king of the housing market. We're going to need buyers. So if you prepare now, you guys, you're going to slide right into being a winner. Okay? Please just trust me. Don't learn the hard way. Don't listen to these freaks that are making, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars by giving you bad advice. If anyone is selling leads, their advice is tainted because they have to sell leads to realtors, insurance companies, mortgage companies. You guys, it's a crisis. It's a crisis. And you know what? And that is something that I will apologize for, you guys. As an industry, as a professional in an industry, as a loan officer, as a realtor, as a CE instructor, I'm sorry. You guys, I get it. I understand why consumers hate realtors, hate loan officers. I get it. There are so many bad realtors and loan officers. It's shocking. It even shocks me. I have so many stories to tell you guys as we move on into the year. But I'm going to save it, you guys. That's all for this video. Now, let me know if you like this video. I was totally unscripted. I wanted to be unscripted on this one. I figured it out, I would pour out a little bit more of my heart. Let me know if you guys prefer this type of unscripted content. Let me know if you like this video, you guys. I definitely appreciate you. I love you. And again, you guys, thank you for helping me build this community. Thank you for helping me help other people. Now, I hope you guys got some insight, some perspective, and some value from today's video. And if you're out there investing in real estate, I wish you luck. And I hope you win.